My name is Joseph Gallagher. I have been a BC resident for almost 50 years and a resident of Vancouver for 25. I have 3 children. My youngest, Christopher Joseph Gallagher, died recently at the age of 43. For 10 years, he suffered from a concurrent disorder comprised of bipolar mental illness, severe bipolar mental illness, and methamphetamine addiction. Because of this concurrent disorder, he was denied appropriate and costly medical treatment. I am making this video to expose the stonewalling of this issue: prejudice against the drug-addicted mentally ill. The stonewalling by the medical establishment, including particularly the BC College of Physicians and Surgeons, the Vancouver Police, and the political establishment. He died on August 9th, 2013. On August 2nd, 2013, he went to St. Paul's Hospital Emergency for the 3rd time because of severe chest pain. Because of prejudice against his concurrent disorder, Dr. John Ward absolutely ignored the intensity of that chest pain. The intensity which indicated that it was pectoral angina. Dr. John Ward, in the light of his caretaker's comments on his discharge papers, apparently regarded it as a methamphetamine tactile hallucination. He said that there was absolutely no sign of danger to Christopher's heart. He said absolutely also that there was no sign of ischemia, that's the blockage of the blood supply to the heart. He sent him home. He died. According to the coroner and the pathologist upon whose autopsy the coroner's report is based, Christopher died from heart failure caused by ischemia. The coroner and the pathologist also noted that ischemia was triggered by Christopher's ignored chronic condition. The pathologist adds, I'll quote, "In light of the history of the deceased having attended hospital complaining of chest pain, a recognized symptom of coronary atherosclerosis only a week prior to his death, it may be prudent to seek review of the care and treatment offered to the deceased at this time." The care and treatment offered to the deceased at this time should have included a MIBI. It's a type of stress test which shows the presence of ischemia where other stress tests do not. It reveals the lack of an adequate blood supply to the heart by a photograph taken after the injection of a radioactive substance called sestamib. It is the primary diagnostic resource for conditions such as my son's and mine. Yes, I had a MIBI in 2004. My electrocardiograms, like my son's, always showed no sign of ischemia in the face of, like my son's, chronic conditions and a history of chest pain. However, My chronic condition, unlike my son's, was not socially unacceptable. It was not 10 years of mental illness involving addiction to methamphetamines. It was 60 years of diabetes mellitus involving drug dependence on insulin. The fact that my electrocardiograms never showed any sign of ischemia was not seized by my emergency room doctor to send me home. If it had been, and if he had done so, I would have been dead 9 years before my son. Christopher's mother, Catherine Gallagher, wrote a letter of complaint to the BC College of Physicians and Surgeons concerning Dr. Ward's treatment of our son. The conclusion of its inquiry committee is a complete cover-up of the fact that Dr. Ward's treatment was criminal negligence causing death, manslaughter by criminal negligence. Their conclusion completely ignores all the details which demonstrate Dr. Ward's criminal negligence and which the committee had in front of it. This stonewalling is part of a long collusion with the Vancouver police in the treatment of our son. Christopher's mother also wrote a letter to the Vancouver police, to now retired Chief Jim Chu. She received a reply which said, and I will quote, "Because the staff at St. Paul's Hospital did not do anything intentionally to cause Christopher's death, this would not be investigated by the police. The appropriate avenue of investigation lies with the BC College of Physicians and Surgeons." Indeed. This letter is falsifying the very nature of the relevant criminal law. It is doing this to do its part, along with the BC College of Physicians and Surgeons, to ensure that a criminal investigation does not take place. The relevant criminal law is Criminal Code of Canada, Offense 220, Number 5, criminal negligence causing death, manslaughter by criminal negligence. Contrary to the letter's premise that only what is intentional is relevant to the criminal law, to any criminal law, the Canadian Judicial Council, a body established by the Judges Act, makes clear that intention does not apply in any way to the law cited above. The Judicial Council says of criminal negligence causing death, I quote, "The Crown does not have to establish that, and then the name of the accused, meant to kill or seriously harm the name of the injured or anybody else." I trust that the Honorable Suzanne Anton, as a lawyer, as the Minister of Justice, and as the Attorney General, is well aware of this. I trust that she is also well aware of the fact that in their adamant attempt to prevent justice from being done, the Vancouver Police and the BC College of Physicians and Surgeons are each criminal accessories after the fact to the criminal negligence of Dr. John Ward. And in creating a situation which, as a matter of course, allows such negligence to happen, they are also each criminal accessories before the fact. The actions of the college and the police call for an immediate and assiduous investigation. How many such criminally misleading letters has Chief Jim Chu authorized to be written in his name? How long has the BC College of Physicians and Surgeons regarded as standard and appropriate, their exact words to Mrs. Gallagher, a policy ignoring the lethal negligence of physicians and surgeons? Obviously not their exact words, but exactly what their lack of words, what their stonewalling means. I am sure that the Honorable Attorney General Suzanne Anton is aware of her duty to authorize such an investigation, but I am very uneasy about the likelihood of her acting upon that duty. Attorney General though she is also a politician. Not only throughout Canadian health care and policing is there casual inhumanity against the drug-using mentally ill, throughout Canadian politics there are ministers of justice, ministers of health, ministers of finance, premiers, and a prime minister who condone and generate that casual inhumanity in the name of careful spending. While they are turning Aristotle's definition of politics as the art of the possible into the art of whatever they can possibly get away with, do they ever try to remember a time when they knew, at least in their hearts, that politics should not be, despite Aristotle, art at all? It should be no more than managing the logistics of human compassion. Deaths are not usually so inconvenient as my sons for doctors, colleges of physicians and surgeons, police, and politicians. They usually happen to those who are largely forgotten before they die, usually in back alleys and along side roads, or are remembered by family and friends who have too much grief and too little money to cause much trouble. Victims from First Nations are doubly victimized. They are swept away by the confluence of two prejudices. And it is all fueled by assent, prejudicial assent to blandly brutal economics, cutting corners, the saving of money by not spending on the socially unacceptable and the prejudicially dismissible. Cutting my son's corner was a bit hasty. It killed him, as if he had been hit by a drunken driver, to whom, as Chief Jim Chu well knows, precisely the same criminal law applies. Well, MIBIs are expensive. How many voters are going to care at all or care for long because every now and then a drug-addicted, mentally ill user dies on the street from taxpayers' money not being spent on him or her? I wish I did not have to make this video. I would like to forget, but what happened to Chris and has happened to others must not happen again.